Hey friends, John Quirk here from SoCal Wellness, and I want to tell you a little secret. I became a yoga teacher 10 years ago, and you would think that becoming a yoga teacher means that instantly you're good at meditation, or at least you have a meditation practice. At least that's what I thought. But it took me a few years before I really sat down, and I never forget the moment where I actually decided that I was going to sit down and try to start meditating. And I had this little apartment in San Diego as my first apartment when I moved out here, in this kind of rough neighborhood. So there's a lot of sounds and smells, and it was really not the perfect place to meditate. But I put my little yoga block down and I sat down. And I remember I set a clock for 15 minutes, thinking that kind of seems like 15 to 20 minutes was kind of the standard, meditations that you'd see on Insight Timer, or kind of was the standard time that you'd see for meditation. And I remember, I set the clock on my phone and I sat there and I sat there and I sat there, and it felt like just the most difficult thing I had ever done. I mean, my mind was racing a million thoughts an hour. How long is this going to be? What am I going to have for dinner? Did I forget to do this thing today, et cetera, et cetera? And it literally became painful. Like, it wasn't just that I was like sitting and it was uncomfortable to sit. It actually became like I literally couldn't keep my eyes closed. And I remember at one point thinking, I've been sitting here forever. Like, it has to have been at least 15 minutes. And then I'm thinking, well, maybe I shut the ringer off on my phone, or the sound is off, or maybe my phone died or something. Like, it has to be, something has to be off, right? So I finally peeked my eyes open and I looked down, and it was 7 minutes and 27 seconds. And I just remember going, oh crap, like this journey to developing a meditation practice is going to be so difficult. So now, fast forward 10 years, I've been to 5 Joe Dispenza events. I've practiced Wim Hof method, done those trainings. I've experimented with transcendental meditation, Vipassana meditation, all these different meditation techniques. I've studied meditation all around the world with some really great teachers and on various different retreats and modalities. But um, breathwork was really the thing that took me from, like, I think, novice meditator to pretty advanced meditator. And it was really fun. I was looking at my Whoop recently. I just got a Whoop, and it tracks all of your, resting data, your active data, and your sleep data. And it was really cool because I sat to meditate the other day, and it actually tracked me going into REM sleep, which, when I went to Joe Dispenza events, he talks about how people who are advanced meditators could actually get into REM even without sleeping. And so I was like, wow, what a cool moment, right? From where I was to where I am, like, getting into REM in a still awakened state is a pretty cool thing to be able to do. And what a superpower, right? To be able to slow your brain down and to go into a deep resting state, while you're still awake. And Andrew Huberman, who, if you know his podcast, is really nerdy on all things, neurological data, he talks about how non-sleep rest is one of the most vital things that people can do throughout the course of the day to really recharge themselves and for real longevity, right? To really keep themselves healthy long term. So the reason I share this story is because when I found breath work and I discovered how powerful, I mean, obviously as a yoga teacher, I knew breath, the attention to breath was so important, but how amazing it was that I was able to unlock at a deeper level. Breathing exercises is a way to calm and center myself and to really relax my state of being and to really, in a moment's notice, change brainwave activity. And so now, having worked with thousands of people on retreats and having dove into my own practices of, going deeper with breath work, and even coming out of like the psychedelic world, realizing that I didn't really want to use psychedelics, but I could achieve the same sort of altered states with breath. It's been able to really game change for me in so many ways. I know I've become better in my workouts. I've become more attentive to nasal breathing throughout the course of the day. My sleep scores with that Whoop, my regular sleep scores are off the charts good. So there's really not a lot of areas that it doesn't tap into. But I just wanted to make this video to let you know that if you're new or novice to meditating, if you've never meditated a day before in your life, but you know that it could have value for you, and you've probably heard friends or family or reports that meditation is something that can be really extremely valuable for us, breathwork might be the key in the lock. It might be the thing that takes you from, oh my God, I don't think I could ever meditate, to, wow, this stuff actually works. So we have tons of free resources in our Skool community. I'll link it below. Would love for you to jump in there and come do a breathwork class for us, or try any guided meditations, either mine or I have other breathwork teachers that I just love that I just link in there so people can get the best breathwork I think that's out there on the internet. And come breathe with us because it is freaking magical. And if you've ever wanted to meditate and you feel like you can't, I promise you, I was the worst meditator ever, and you can. So lots of love. See you on the breath work.